Treat a crow badly for only a few seconds, and you may forget about it by the next day. But the crow may not. Can recognize your face, sound an alarm when it sees you, and, strangest of all, teach other crows that have never met you that you are dangerous. Years later, when you walk down the same street, the crows in the trees may suddenly begin calling out. Because this is not an ordinary bird. You are facing one of the most intelligent animals on Earth. An animal that recognizes faces, learns from the past, uses tools, and gathers around its dead. So, how well do crows really know us? It all began in 2006 with an unusual experiment at the University of Washington in the United States. Researchers wore a special mask resembling a human face and briefly captured 7 American crows on the university campus. The birds were not harmed. After identification bands were attached to their legs, they were released back into the wild. But for the crows, being captured was a frightening experience. Because of this, they stored the face of the mask worn by their captor as a warning sign in their memories. Later, the researchers walked across the campus while wearing the same mask again. The moment the crows saw it, they began calling loudly, warning other crows about the approaching danger and sometimes following the masked person from the air. That alone was surprising, but the real mystery came next. The reaction was no longer limited to the 7 crows that had originally been captured. After some time, 47 out of 53 crows encountered by the researcher reacted aggressively to the dangerous mask. Most of those crows had never been captured. Some had not even been born when the experiment began. Somehow, information about the dangerous human face had spread to other crows. The birds were not only remembering faces. They were teaching one another which humans should be avoided. The researchers continued the experiment for years. Different people wore the dangerous mask while walking around the campus. This allowed the scientists to determine whether the crows recognized a particular person's smell, body shape, or way of walking, or whether they were truly recognizing the face of the mask. No matter who wore it, the crows reacted in the same way. A second mask was also used during the experiment. People wearing this mask did not capture the crows. Instead, they behaved calmly and sometimes offered them food. The crows did not react aggressively to this face. In other words, the birds were not only able to distinguish between human faces, they could also connect those faces with positive or negative experiences from the past. The experiment was followed for as long as 17 years. The crow's reaction to the threatening mask reached its highest level around 2013. After that, the response gradually weakened over time. This does not mean that crows remember everything forever, but it showed that information created by a single frightening encounter could remain within a crow community for many years. When we look at a group of crows, we often see several similar-looking black birds. But when crows look at us, they may see something very different. They may distinguish the shape of our faces, remember our behavior, and recall how we treated them in the past. You may not recognize the crows living in your neighborhood, but they may already recognize you. This behavior is often described by saying, "Crows hold grudges." But scientifically, it is more likely connected to survival than revenge. Remembering a threat provides a major advantage in the wild. When a person has captured you, approached your nest, or threatened your young, recognizing that same person later could save your life. However, crows appear to do something even more advanced. When one crow notices danger, it gives a loud alarm call. Other crows hear the warning, approach the area, and begin observing the threat themselves. This means that knowledge is not limited to the bird that experienced the danger directly. The entire community can learn from the event. Young crows may also watch the reactions of older birds and learn which people or animals are dangerous. Frightening one crow may therefore become more than a problem between you and a single bird. Before long, an entire neighborhood of crows may begin to recognize you. But this raises a darker question. When crows can learn from living threats, what happens when they discover a dead crow? When a dead crow is found on the ground, other crows may gather around it while calling loudly. Some wait in nearby trees. Some move closer to the body. Others remain in the area for a long time. Because this scene resembles a human funeral, the behavior is often called a crow funeral. But are they truly grieving for their companion? We do not know for certain. It is difficult to prove whether crows experience emotions similar to human grief simply by observing their behavior. However, research suggests that these gatherings serve another extremely important purpose. Crows may interpret the presence of a dead crow as evidence that the area is dangerous. The body could indicate that a predator, poisonous food, an aggressive human, or another threat is nearby. By gathering around the dead bird, the crows can inspect the area and learn about the possible cause of death. In one experiment, a person standing near a dead crow was later remembered by the birds as a potential threat when that person returned to the same location. This means that crows may not only notice death, they may also memorize the faces connected to it. From the outside, this behavior can appear dark and disturbing, but from a survival perspective, it makes perfect sense. An animal that learns from the death of another member of its community may avoid the same danger and remain alive. Yet, the intelligence of crows is not limited to recognizing faces or learning from death. Some crows can also use objects in their environment as tools to solve difficult problems. New Caledonian crows use thin branches and pieces of plants to reach insects hidden beneath tree bark. Sometimes they select a suitable branch, remove the unnecessary parts, and transform it into a more effective tool. This is far more complex than randomly pecking at an object. The crow must first understand that the food is out of reach. Then it must select an appropriate object and use it with precise movements. A study published in 2025 also showed that carrion crows, which do not regularly use tools in the wild, could learn how to use a thin stick through training. The 3 crows in the experiment could not reach food inside a transparent device directly with their beaks. Instead, they had to hold a stick and use it to move the food toward the opening. During their first attempts, their movements were uncoordinated. But with practice, they learned to control the stick much more accurately and effectively. The stick was no longer simply a foreign object. It seemed to become an extension of the crow's beak. This result was important. It showed that crows do not rely only on instinct. They can develop new and complicated abilities through experience and practice. Crow intelligence is not limited to scientific laboratories. For them, a city is an enormous problem-solving environment. They constantly observe traffic, food left behind by humans, the way garbage containers open, and the behavior of other animals. They can notice whether a person is carrying food, wait at a safe distance, and move in at exactly the right moment. Their success does not depend only on a powerful memory. Crows observe, learn from one another, and adapt to changing conditions. That may be why they have managed to survive in so many different environments, from forests and farmland to small towns and enormous cities. We may believe that cities were built entirely for humans, but crows have quietly learned the rules of these places and transformed them into habitats of their own. The next time you notice a crow watching you, do not assume that it is staring without purpose. It may be studying your face, evaluating your behavior, and deciding whether you are safe or dangerous. It may remember you tomorrow. It may still recognize you years later. It may even pass information about you to its young and to other crows in the area. The intelligence of crows reminds us of an important truth. Intelligence is not only the ability to speak, write, or create technology. Sometimes intelligence means remembering a dangerous face for years, learning from the death of another animal, and transforming a simple branch into a life-saving tool. The real question is not whether crows understand us. The real question is when we will realize just how closely they have been watching us. Subscribe to the channel to discover more incredible stories from the animal world.